mentioned just a moment ago, I think the person who sort of kept me off the ledge for quite a while is Professor Catherine Shannon. And she's going to join us to give the toast to the day we celebrate. And I'm sure I'm going to butcher the Latin again, but as I'm told, it's Professor Emerite from Westfield. I was focused on the Latin. I knew I'd screw something up. Catherine Shannon, who not only is going to give the toast, she can come up, but also was able to persuade our amazing featured speaker, Jim Carroll, to come join us this evening. So I like to think she also saved me quite a bit of panic. So, Catherine, if you could give us the toast to the day we celebrate.
Let me say first off that having been the first woman president of the Charitable Irish Society and remembering the kind of seismic shifts under the ground when that happened, I admire any woman who decides that she will accept that office. But more than that, I have to say that Kelley has proved her weight in gold in the last year. She is charting a new course for us, a course that is now into the digital age. She wants me to text message her, and I can hardly figure out my cell phone, but I know that she is the future, and Kelley, you've done a great job. And before I read the toast of the day, I want to say a few words about our guest speaker, because I know that many of you are very, very familiar with our guest speaker, Jim Carroll, because of his Monday columns, which
the best.
Always challenge us to think anew and to think again and to find our better selves as Christians, as citizens, as people of no belief or whatever. It's amazing how he does that in his 750-word columns. This is tremendous. But beyond that, I have to say, and Jim didn't pay me to say this, I decided I would have to get Jim's book.
Practicing Catholics?
Practicing Catholics is his most recent book. And a friend of mine down the Cape said, I just got this. Do you know this guy? And I said, yeah, I read him and I know him. I met him a few times. And she said, this is really interesting. So I'm a retired professor, so I went to the library and I got it. And I was absolutely riveted, because this book is an absolutely amazing blending and weaving together of so many extraordinary stories. Jim's own personal history, growing up in the 60s with all the great hope that the Kennedy administration gave to those of us of my age. Maybe we're all about the same age.
Our age, Catherine.
But we had great hopes, and he talked about that. And he talked about where we were when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and Robert Kennedy. And it brought so many memories back to me about that. But beyond that, what Jim did was to kind of weave together that personal history with an extremely effective discussion of the history of the church, of theology, of philosophy, in ways that addresses all the issues that we're concerned with today about social justice and about peace and about how we can be good Christians in this society. And, please go out and buy Jim's book.
Practicing Catholics, right?
It is amazing. And the other thing that I took away from this was I read some of his commentary about the early church, I said to myself, I was teaching those kids the right things back in my Western Civ course, and particularly in the women's history course. So we are really privileged to have Jim, who most of us know as a columnist, and others know as a tremendous novelist when he first kind of burst on the Boston scene as a creative writer. And those of us who have even deeper, kind of memories of the past, we know Jim's work when he was chaplain at Boston University in supporting those students who had concerns and doubts about the war in Vietnam, which many of my generation did. And I'm sure that many, many people will owe many thanks to Jim for that. So we are just so delighted to have Jim here tonight to respond to our traditional toast to the day. And I've gone on too long, but I will read the toast to the day. So, to the day we celebrate. Today we celebrate a humble and energetic saint whose amazing life and legacy is cherished by all Irish people at home and throughout the world. The story of St. Patrick's youthful capture and enslavement, his escape and growing commitment to Christianity, and his eventual return to Ireland as a bishop, who successfully evangelized his former tormentors, has inspired Christian missionaries and lay people for 16 centuries. Devotion to St. Patrick's knows no sectarian boundaries in Ireland, and his putative burial site in County Down is sacred ground to Catholics and Protestants alike. On this day in 2010, 12 years after the signing of the Good Friday Agreement, and only weeks after the historic Hillsborough Agreement on devolution, we hope and pray that St. Patrick's profound message, an example for forgiveness and reconciliation, will continue to inspire all those in Ireland and beyond who seek to bring permanent and lasting peace to the island of Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a toast to the day and the saint we celebrate.